No, no. I know what you're going for there, and I know exactly what you mean. So, in that regard, you do it very well.
Mm.
Um, I think the topics that you cover are good because you're talking about things you clearly, obviously, want to talk about. Um, and I think if there was any constructive criticisms, the only thing I would suggest is, and it took me 2 years to learn how to do this, and I still, if you saw the raw footage of 3 kilobytes, you'd say, what the hell is this trash? But when you are doing a review,
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest always keep in mind to not, say you're explaining something and it only needs to be said once.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard in the beginning to not not to repeat the same thing twice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do that on their channels, and I know that some people do it on purpose to sort of get more views, get people watch longer videos and blah, 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 more ads and all that crap. But I would say constructive criticism-wise, just pay attention to what you're saying in terms of, like, if you're explaining the game's story, I would just say explain the story and move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
yeah, just you hit the point on the head and you move on. I'm not saying that you don't do that. I'm just saying that once in a while I see you talk about something, and I know why you're doing that. It's not because you can't go through the review and explain it. It's because you're actually passionate about the topics that you're talking about,
Right.
and that's the only thing. Like, you have to learn how to basically realize that there's somebody watching it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, yes, you're passionate about something, but I know that for instance, when I talk about something passionately, I go on and on and on and on and on and on about it. And it's because I love it, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to get a point across, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
So it's like, literally, that is the only thing I would say be a little bit cautious about.
Yeah.
Other than that, the length of the videos seem good. Sometimes maybe they're a bit long.
Yeah.
But other than that, you really have a decent thing going there. So I wouldn't change much about it. There's not much you can change about that format because it's already works the way you want it to.
Right.
And I wouldn't look at it in terms of you having to change anything. I would just say that over the next 7 months, 8 months, you'll actually grow you'll grow as how you want it to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be what you want it to be. I would not listen to anybody in terms of like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Do what you want, but be honest to yourself. If there's something that you like doing, but you know it's not working for some odd reason, or some people just don't like it, maybe sometimes you have to fine tune those things.
Yeah, definitely. It's just amazing. The way I think of it, the same thing, even when I watch my own reviews, and, what happens, I'll explain part of the reason, and you probably figured this out anyway. When I'm on camera, and obviously as you know, there's no cuts, so what happens is that even though I'm trying to be clear and explain myself, sometimes, this often happens in the middle of the review, sometimes what happens is I even though I know my points, my mind just, hits that wall where, like any natural human being, and you go, hold on, wait. This game is, if I said, this game has great graphics, and I'm still sort of on the graphics, but not entirely, I'll go, sometimes, and I'll be like, wait a minute, I hit a wall, for a split second, and then I gotta think of something to say to keep it going, and I'll go, the game has just such amazing graphics, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what that is. And that's why we edit our show, because we're idiots. But I think in terms of you, I think you'll just get better and better and better. And if you watch anybody out there, nobody can go 10 minutes perfectly. Yeah. Not even the President of the United States can do a speech without messing up in 10 minutes. So it's I wouldn't worry about that. If you watch, the most important person in the U.S. give a speech, he fumbles his words every 2 minutes.
You just don't notice it.
Yeah, he'll say something, and you'll know he's thinking like, what am I about to say next? I forgot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they probably think a little more vulgar than that, but yeah.
Well, yeah. So I would say that even like watching Steve Jobs give a keynote speech, he would forget what he's about to say, or he would stumble on his own words. Anybody does that.
Yeah.
It's something that you'll just work on your own time, you know?
Definitely. Okay, so I guess, again, guys, I'm sure anyone who watches this is a fan of 3 kilobytes, so this probably won't even be necessary, but I'm going to do it anyways. I will put the link in the description to their channel, 3 kilobytes. I'll also put Jason's channel. He started up his own channel. He talks about, not just video games, but it's a little more serious. He talks about some of the issues he's had in his life, which it's unfortunate, but a lot of people have it. And he's really helped a lot of people. And if you have some certain issues, you can go check out that channel, see what you think, maybe message him about it. He answers messages, guys. I mean, you guys, for any of you who think like, oh, if I send them a message, they're just gonna like throw it, among the spam in their emails or recycling bins. They're not like that. They look at, I think, every other message. And so don't be afraid to send them stuff. And again, these guys are interactive. They've been like my top YouTube channel, I think, for the last, Jason, the first time I ever saw, before we go, I'll just tell you, the first time I ever saw you guys, I remember this, it was back in late 2010. You guys put up your Red Dead GTA 4 debate, right? So, I was looking up, I felt like, I guess, I was thinking of picking up Red Dead, because I finally had the money to get it. And what happened was that I decided to look up a debate, though, because I was deciding between getting Grand Theft Auto 4 or Red Dead at the time. I have both now, but I only had money to get one. And what happened was, so I see your video, and I go, okay, I click on it. I see your intro, and your intro is amazing, but what was interesting was that at first I thought, because I've seen videos like this where they just sort of have gameplay for each one. And I thought, I was sitting there like, oh, this is going on for 45 seconds or something like that. This probably isn't worth it. And then the second I'm moving my mouse over to the back line, the second I'm almost about to click on it, you guys pop up, and I like jump back, like out of my seat, like, wait a minute, what the hell? And then I've watched you guys, and I realized something, like, wait a minute, this is actually a review show. So I checked. So from there it got ridiculous, and then I see your channel, and then basically my brain just popped out. Without the amount of videos. So I don't know, I can't obviously tell you if I've seen every single episode. I think I've seen almost every one. I think the only ones I haven't watched are ones that, like, either they're private or I never really was interested in the entertainment product, even though you guys really are the entertainment product. I guess that sounds kind of weird. But anyways, so, yeah, I mean, since then, it's been ridiculous. I never thought in a million years that I would get to chat with a YouTube celebrity, and I know that sounds stupid, Jason, and I know that you probably hate being called that, but that's what I think of you, man. I can't help it, especially when we interview, and especially listen to me, jeez, when I interview you for the first time. So, I want to thank you for coming on. I hope maybe there'll be more interviews with you later on, maybe when you become bigger, or maybe sort of like update stuff. I'm not saying that this will be, I don't want people to think this is like the only time I'm ever going to talk to you. I'm going to continue to talk to you, obviously. Maybe if something big comes up or you got an interesting idea, maybe we'll talk about it. And I just want to thank you so much, man. It means so much to me. I've been bothering you. I've been pestering you about this interview for God knows how long. And
that's no big deal.
I mean, it's just that I was always considering, like, if I send another message, is he going to get annoyed? Like, oh my God, like, I get it. You want to interview me. Hold on a second. First, and also I want to mention to you that, you guys, are you going to the Fan Expo this year?
Yeah, of course.
In Toronto, yeah. I figured you guys were. Not